Here are the answers from our group reading and search result for question 1A. According to section 27 under Sales of Goods Act 1957, the act of any other law currently in force where goods are sold by a person who is not the owner of them, who does not sell them under the authority with or with the consent of the owner. The buyer does not acquire better title to the goods that the seller had. The maxim is nemo dat quod non habet. The rules state that no one give what they do not have, which a person who transfer commodity cannot transfer a better title than he or she now holds. The rule reflects the common law long-standing preference for protecting property rights. Case of Lim Chulai vs. Zino in 1964, 30 MLJ 314 served as an illustration of this rule. In this case, a contract for the building of a culvert channel was obtained from Majlis Pembadaran Petaling Jaya MPPJ by Zino and Ahmad through a contract agreement established with the additional parties and supplied material for culvert building. But Ahmad and MPPJ deal was cancelled. Ahmad already sold Lim Chulai, who is the appellant in this case, the building material that Zino supplied. To get this chemical recovered or paid for at the expenses that should have been, Zino filed a lawsuit in court on behalf of Lim Chulai. According to the court decision, Lim Chulai has no legal title to the content. Lim Chulai, however, filed an appeal with the higher court, and the federal court ruled that Ahmad only served as the product's bailee and open owner at the time he sold it to the Lim Chulai. As a result, the federal court determined that Ahmad was unable to transfer any title to the appellant because he lacked ownership of the product or the right to sell it.
First, estoppel. Section 27 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957 allows the owner of goods to question the buyer's ownership title if the seller lacked authority to sell. However, there are cases where this rule can be used against this owner, preventing them from denying ownership to the buyer. In Eastern Distributors, a Goldring, a van owner and car dealer devised a plan to deceive a finance company by transferring ownership of the van and arranging a hire purchase agreement. The finance company discovered the fraudulent arrangement and is concerned. Second, sale by mercantile agent. Section 27 states that if a mercantile agent possesses goods and has the owner's consent, a sale conducted by the agent during their agency is as valid as if done by the owner. However, problem arises when the agent lacks the authority to sell the goods. In the case of Fox v. King, the owner entrusted their car to an agent for sale at reserved price. The agent sold the car to a buyer in a good faith by a much lower price than the reserved price. The owner later won the car back, but it was determined that the buyer who purchased the car from a mercantile agent with good title also acquired good title to the car. This ruling was based on the buyer's good faith and the agent's possession of good title.
Question number 3. Sale by one of joint owner. According to Section 28 Goods Act, when there are multiple joint owners of goods and be in possession of one of them with the consent of co-owners. If someone which is joint owner sell those goods to other strangers, the ownership will transfer to the new buyers. However, if that person buys them from a joint owners and unaware at the time of purchase, the seller did not have the right to sell those goods to the buyer. Question number 4. Sale under voidable contract. According to Section 29, the Sale of Goods Act, seller may pass a good title to a bona fide purchaser when the genuine owners transfer possession of the goods to the seller due to fraud or other voidable matters. For example, if Ali purchased item for Abu because yours and sell it to Ahmad after it with a good manners and Abu does not cancel the contract before it, Ahmad will be the owner of the goods as a sole owner.
Now, I will describe and explain the answer for point 5. Sale by a seller in possession before sale. According to section 30 bracket 1, sale by a seller in possession after sale is when a seller has sold goods but still possess them. According to this section, if the seller sells the good to a third party, the third party will acquire good title to the goods if they receive them in good faith and without notice of the previous sale. For the third party to acquire good title under section 30 bracket 1, they must fulfill the following requirement. It means that they must believe that they are acquiring a good title to the goods. For example, a buyer agrees to buy a car from a seller. The seller then changed their mind and decide to sell the car to a third party. In this situation, because the buyer has not yet paid the full purchase price, the third party will not acquire a good title to the car. Now I will explain for the answer point 6. Sale by a seller in possession after sale. According to section 30, sale by a buyer in possession after sale is a situation where a buyer has made a purchase but has not yet taken possession of the goods. According to this section, if the purchaser later sells the item to the third party will gain good title to the product if they are received in good faith and without knowledge of the first transaction. This section provides to safeguard third parties who are unaware that the goods have already been sold. In the case of Newtons of Wembley Ltd v Williams, plaintiff sold the car to Y who paid by cheque, and the car was given to YY subject to an agreement that the title to the car will not pass unless the cheque was honoured. XX resolved it to William. Court held in this case that YY, the original buyer, was in possession of the car with the consent of the owner. Therefore, he can pass the good title to XX, who in turn later transferred the car to William.
For question B, the case study is Patricia had lost her gold Pandora charm bracelet worth of 15,000 ringgit, and she advertised it in the local newspaper, Facebook and Twitter that whoever finds her bracelet and returns the said bracelet to her, she will give 1,000 ringgit as a reward. And then the bracelet was found by Rania, and she only knew about the advertisement about the reward through her Facebook 3 days after she had returned the bracelet to Patricia. The issues are whether Rania was entitled to the reward because of returning Patricia's bracelet. According to Section 2A of Contract Act 1950, when the person signifies to another his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to the act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. The promiser or offerer must have declared his willingness to undertake an obligation on certain terms, leaving the offeree with the option of accepting or refusing it. The characteristics of proposal is an offer must be certain, an offer must be communicated, made to anyone and everyone, an offer must be distinguished from invitation to threat, ITT, an offer to be distinguished from counter offer. Then, according to Section 2B of Contract Act 1950, when the person to whom the offer is made signifies his assent, the offer is said to have been accepted and become a promise. The acceptance can be expressed in some usual or reasonable manner unless the offer prescribes the way it is to be accepted. The characteristics of acceptance is it must be unconditional, accepted within a reasonable time, silence does not constitute a valid acceptance, and it requires a positive act of acceptance. It can be a performance, and it must be communicated using usual method. And then, according to Section 4.1 of Contract Act 1950, the communication of a proposal is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made. The proposal may only be accepted by the addressee, and the party accepting the proposal must be aware of it. A party casually returns lost property to its owner and then learns that awards are being offered for its recovery. The party cannot legally collect the reward. For example of the case of R.V. Clark in 1927, when Clark provided information to complete contract requirements, Clark had no expectation of profit. The reward indicated a payment for such information as shall lead to the arrest and conviction to the persons, and the arrest occurred prior to the information being given. The court further decided that not only had a contract not been created, but Clark had also failed to fulfill the condition of the contract.
In conclusion, the Nemo that quote and habit rules state that a person cannot transfer a better title to goods than what they currently possess. However, there are exceptions to this rule, including estoppel, sale by mercantile agent, sale by one of the joint owners, sale under avoidable contract, sale by a seller in possession of the sale, and sale by a buyer in possession of the sale. This exception allows a buyer who purchases goods in good faith and for a reasonable price to obtain valid title to the goods. As for the case of Rania and Patricia loose bracelet, Rania will not be entitled to the reward as she was unaware of the reward when she returned the bracelet to Patricia.